Hi, this is Teacher Josh and welcome again to ABKD Classroom. And for our today's lesson, we're going to discuss the present perfect tense. I have a question for you. Natitense ka ba pag nakikita mo itong si present perfect? For example, ano kaya sa sentence na I have visited my parents last week or I visited my parents last week yung tama? If you are confused, this video is for you. But before anything else, please subscribe to my channel so that you'll be notified for our next video. And please share this to your friends or classmates na nahihirapan din dito. So, are you ready? If yes, let's go. Okay, welcome back again. Our topic is about the present perfect tense. To give you an idea about this lesson, when you say present perfect tense, it refers to an action that occurred in an indefinite time in the past. It is also an action that began in the past or an action that is continued to the present. That's why maraming mga students ang nahihirapan pagdating sa application ng present perfect tense because of its complexities. To make it very easy for you, I want you to remember two words. And those words are very important when we are studying this present perfect tense. And the first one is the pattern or the structure. It is like solving a mathematical problem. If you don't know the formula, of course, it will be hard for you to solve it. Likewise, in grammar, you need to be familiarized with the patterns. Secondly, the usage, yung gamit nito. Bakit ba natin ito kailangan gamitin sa sentence natin? When and how to use it in constructing a sentence. Okay, so let's talk about the pattern. So, when we use present perfect tense, you're going to familiarize the has or have plus past participle of the verb. So, we're going to use has if the subject is singular and have if the subject is plural. Also, if your subject has an I or you or the so-called first and the second point of view, you're going to use have as well. On the other hand, ano naman tong past participle of the verb na to? Naalala niyo ba yung mga teachers niyo nung elementary or even high school, pinapakabisado kayo ng mga verbs, yung simple past ng verb and past participle? Ang purpose kasi nun is for you to recognize and to familiarize some past participles in constructing your sentence. For example, I have there on my screen examples of verb, okay? Specifically the past participle. You know what? If you know the pattern in the usage of present perfect tense, it will be easier for you to identify if the sentence is using simple past, present perfect, past perfect, or future perfect. Okay, so let's have an idea about this past participle. Actually, what I did is I tried to give the two basic categories of verbs that we have. We have the regular verbs and the irregular verbs. This is very important when we are constructing present perfect. And when you say regular verbs, these are verbs that when you try to make it in a past tense or in its past participle, you need to add just D or ED. Okay? On the other hand, when you say irregular verbs, these are verbs when you try to make it in past tense or past participle, you're going to change the spelling. Okay? So, pakitandaan, pag gagawa tayo ng present perfect tense, we need to follow the formula. So, I have here an example of having a subject, having the has and have, and also the past participle. As you observe, we need also to recognize the agreement of the subject and the verb. That's why we have she has talked, okay, we have danced, I have eaten, he has risen, and you have gone. Okay, so after familiarizing the pattern, let's go to its usage. So dito na tayo medyo magbibigay ng diin. Number one, we use the present perfect tense to tell a specific time before the present. Ibig sabihin, we use it when an action happened at unspecified time before now. Okay? When you say unspecified, hindi ka sure kung kailan nangyari yung action na yon. Pero yung action na yon nangyari sa past. Okay, for example, using the timeline below, let's have this sentence. I was in Japan last week. Okay? So that sentence is under the simple past. Okay? Why? Again, when you say present perfect tense, we're going to use it when we are talking about unspecific time. In that case, in our sentence, that is specific because the action happened last week. Okay? Or the idea of the sentence happened last week. So if we're going to plot that in our timeline, it is like that. Okay? The action is specific. That's why it is a simple past tense lang. On the other hand, let's have this sentence. I have been to Japan. And that sentence is under present perfect. Why? Okay? Because the time expression is missing. We don't know when the action happened. That's why we are talking about its unspecificity. Okay? So if we're going to plot that, hindi natin alam kung kailan nangyari yung action. Kaya sinasabi natin, I have been to Japan. Or I have been to many countries before. Okay? So that is the usage number one. On the other hand, it cannot be used with time expressions that indicate a specific time. Okay, yung difference niya compare sa simple past. Okay, so we cannot use yesterday, last night, and last month because those time expressions are very specific. Okay, we can also use ever na lang, never, or already. For example, the question, have you already eaten your lunch? Have you already given me the paper? Okay? So, yun yung idea ng usage number one. For example, we have the sentence, we have met before. Okay? That sentence gives us an idea that the action happened in the past, but we don't know the exact time. Okay? Number two, I have been to China. Same. It happened or it began in the past or it happened in the past, but we are unsure about its time element. And also, I have studied English for several years now, but the time expression is missing. Its specificity is not included, right? Okay? So let's have the usage number two, from the past until now. We're going to use present perfect to show that something started in the past and has continued up until now. Let's use this timeline. For example, he has lived here for 3 years. So what is the idea of the sentence? It means that the action started 3 years ago. Okay? So bibilang tayo. 3 years ago. And up until now, you are still living there. That's why ginamit natin sa present perfect. Second example, Kate has been the president for 2 years. So let's go back again. The action started 2 years ago, and up until now, she was still the president. Nakikita niyo yung connection ng past and present, di ba? So, remember, when you say present perfect tense, we are dealing an action started from the past, and we are trying to bring it here in the present. Okay? So, for example, phrases that show duration can be used. For 2 weeks since Tuesday for 10 minutes. I have had a fever for 2 weeks. So the meaning of the sentence is, mayroon ka pang sakit noon pa man, okay? 2 weeks ago at hanggang ngayon, meron ka pa ring sakit. Second, John has been here for 3 months. 3 months ago, pumunta dito si John at hanggang ngayon, nandito pa rin si John. Okay? And I have waited for too long sa mga mahilig makipagkita, right? When you say, I have waited for too long, maybe 5 hours ka na naghihintay at hanggang ngayon, naghihintay ka pa rin. So that is very simple when we use the present perfect tense. We use it when we are talking about an action started in the past and still that same action is happening, okay? Or it is still existing. On the other hand, we need to know the difference between for and since. Actually, these are very common time expression used with the present perfect tense. Okay, we use for with a period of time. For example, I have lived here for 25 years. So we are talking about the period of time here in the sentence. And we use since when we are talking about a starting point kung kailan ka nagsimula. Example, I have lived here since 1995. Okay, so both for and since are used in constructing the present perfect tense. Let's have the usage number 3. We're going to use present perfect tense when we are talking about an action that is repeated in the past and there's a possibility that it will be repeated. Okay? To show that something started in the past and has repeatedly continued up until now. Okay, for example, this sentence. I have traveled to Singapore many times. Okay? Again, unspecific, hindi mo alam kung kailan, pero ang sigurado, you done that action many times. So if we're going to plot that, siguro sabihin natin, 5 times ko na nakapunta sa Singapore and that action is repeatedly done in the past. Okay? So, doon natin gagamitin si present perfect tense. So, reminders, present perfect do not use time expressions such as 2 months ago, 1 year ago, last week, or yesterday, even when I was 6 years old. Because those time expressions are very specific. And to be honest, pag gagamit kayo ng mga time expressions na yan, hindi na siya magiging present perfect tense. Magiging past simple or simple past tense na siya. Okay? Kasi halos magkaparehas lang kasi silang dalawa. Again, when you use a time expression in your sentence and you are looking forward to use a present perfect tense, it will be a simple past tense na. Okay? Another thing, you can use the following time expressions with the present perfect. Okay? I have your words that you can use when you are using present perfect tense. We have already, yet, before, never, all my life, ever, just recently, at last, and lately. Okay? So, those are the basic ideas about the present perfect tense. So, I hope na meron kayo natutunan at meron kayo nakuha in our lesson. So, if you have questions, if you have suggestions, you can comment your message below. And maybe I'll be putting in our comment box some questions or test or quiz so that you can practice more the present perfect tense in constructing sentence. So I hope you learned and I hope you enjoy our discussion. Once again, this is Teacher George and we are all part of ABKD classroom. Bye guys.